So
Just let me know when we're live because I don't think I'll know.
we should be live right now.
All right.
It's up on YouTube. If you go to, you should see a stream on the dashboard sheet in Restream. We are live right now.
Okay. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Awesemo.com Live Before Lock show. I realize now if I don't have the YouTube window up, I can't see the video because I can't see your video otherwise. What a predicament. Oh well. Welcome to the YouTube show.
That YouTube video.
No, I know, but now it's like whatever. A lot of work for Twitch. I hope Twitch feels special because we're going through a lot of effort and headaches currently to be able to integrate both chats for you guys. I'm Chris Spags, joined by the star of our YouTube channel, Josh Engelman.
What's up, everybody?
And yeah, tonight we are on YouTube and Twitch. We're having some sort of Twitch things going on. The chat is now showing up for me on there. But yeah, basically gonna have to have both windows open. I'm learning as you do every single day. Tonight we're gonna be talking MLB. We'll be talking a little bit of the NBA. Actually, probably a lot of NBA, but Josh isn't playing NBA, I assume, so his heart won't be in it.
Are you playing NBA tonight?
Oh, I certainly am. I'm playing every single night in the hopes of winning $100,000. That's all it is. It's the only joy I get out of life, Josh.
I can't be playing the one game.
Oh man, the one game is. I mean, it's probably the best opportunity you'll have to win money because it's going to be a couple of new lineups. For both teams. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Hello, chat. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel so you get notifications whenever we go live, both on Twitch and YouTube. So we're multi-platform now. We're a growing media company every single day. Josh, MLB stuff. What are you thinking tonight? Where are your stacks? What pitchers are you landing on?
Yeah, stacks are Cubs and Brewers are my two biggest stacks. They'll be the guys I have the most, and then Eduardo Rodriguez is the guy that I have the most from a pitching perspective.
Yeah, Eduardo pops off as the Vegas pitcher of the day. Both he and Lester, I think, are pretty obviously the top guys, at least in terms of how it looks Vegas-wise. But yeah, I ended up with a lot of Rodriguez too, which I don't love. High fly ball rate in that Rodriguez.
I'm more than okay with it. So for somebody asked the question. Oh, it was Jizz Dragon. What's the Twitch channel? It's Awesemo_com, just like the YouTube version.
Oh yeah, that'd probably be helpful for the Twitch people to know the Twitch channel. But yeah, twitch.com/Awesemo_com or twitch.tv, whatever it is. But yeah, you can add us on there too if you're a Twitch user. Who knows? Maybe we'll do more things. We'll be streaming all over the place. That's what the internet wants these days. Just people in front of cameras watching the same shit you're watching. Let's take a quick question. Actually, Josh, about your personal success, what tournament did you win the other day?
I didn't win, unfortunately. I finished third in the $4 tourney on FanDuel.
Oh, the one you loaded up on our last stream?
Yes.
Oh, good job. Congratulations. There you go.
Yeah, it went very, very well.
So if people had just stolen all of your lineups, they could have also won money on FanDuel that night.
It's possible, yes. It was a very, very good night for me. Let's see if I can find it. What was Friday? 27th?
Sounds about right.
Scroll so damn far. Just so people could see the lineup, because I guess people will probably care about that. Yeah, it went really well. I had a ton of the Reds, and they went bananas. So, yeah, finished third. 0.9 points off the lead. Let's grab the line here. So it was Kluber, Votto, Kendrick, Suarez, Peraza, Brantley, Schebler, Tyler Naquin, and Encarnacion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had a lot of Reds that night, too. I remember we talked Schebler, and I mistakenly had him on the wrong red-headed team.
Yeah.
But yeah, Schebler was a great play despite whatever red-headed team he plays for.
So, yeah, it went very, very well for me Friday night.
Yeah, see, baseball's not that hard. Just stack it up. There you go. Josh is showing you firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, we watched me do this. So, thanks to everybody else in chat for watching.
Yeah, so any MLB questions, drop them in the chat. Faria or Sanchez on DK, Josh, where would you go? I don't like either personally.
Faria by like miles and miles and miles.
I don't love Faria tonight. Like Faria's Vegas doesn't seem to love him either. Pretty high fly ball rate. I feel like he's got going against a lot of hitters who hit well against a pitcher like him.
Miguel Cabrera out tonight. That game has kind of moved a little bit. I like Faria in this situation against this current Tigers lineup. Without Miguel, they have 6 of the 9 guys are projected to have below 400 slugging percentages. So I'll take my chances with a little bit of Faria as a starting pitcher too on DK.
That's fair. I think I had one lineup with a Tigers stack that I didn't mind at all, with Castellanos and co. I mean, there's not a lot of guys there with Cabrera out who are going to do damage, but they have a couple guys who can do something against them. I don't know. What stacks again are you looking at the most, and which ones do you feel like are going to be most underowned?
Cubs and Brewers are my 2 big ones. Last crunch that I did, I can pull that up right now. Padres lineup's supposed to be out. It's just an overwhelming list of all of the Cubs and Brewers guys to start. Next up would probably be Boston.
I like Boston.
Asking me who I think will be underowned.
Milwaukee might be underowned.
I hope so.
But they look good. Lorenzo Cain looks really good tonight.
I don't hate a Rays stack tonight. I don't think
they're a tough team to stack.
Terribly highly owned.
Yeah, I think that's one where the scoring should be pretty good on their side. I had a hard time. I actually was trying pretty hard to find a stack there. There's like Wendell's pretty good. Who do I have actually? Wendell. I think Miller looked okay, but there's not a lot of guys there. I think one of the sites, might be DK Live, was pushing Denard's span. I don't know that I see that. I get the total, but it doesn't seem like a great stacking team especially without Ramos.
Yeah, I have way less of the Twins and Blue Jays game than I would have expected, so that's scaring me a little bit right now. We'll see how that ends up.
Chris Jenner is apparently hiring somebody off of Bumble's business thing, and I've gotten alerts on it like 3 times and an email. I don't know. That's not relevant to anything except people are mentioning Chris Bryant in the chat, and I got an email at the exact same time. It might be relevant to somebody out there who cares about Bumble and whether they're hiring for the Kardashian companies.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that job.
Look, for a girl though, I think it's weird that they're targeting men with it. But if you're appealing to women and trying to get women on your app, giving a Kardashian job is a pretty solid one to get in there, I think.
Just to ask the chat quickly, how's the stream going? Any issues with it so far? Since we're running it through Restream, I just want to make sure everything's going well. So if you can just let me know on compare it to how it normally is, that'd be helpful.
It's weird. On YouTube, it says our stream health is yellow, which I don't know that it means anything, but it makes me worry just about how we're treating YouTube today.
I think that I just need to up the bit rate a little bit, and we'll be fine. But
I imagine it's more of a mood ring thing, where they're just judging us based upon the energy that we're bringing. Not a lot of positive vibes. We got to up it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah, if everybody's liking it, we're good to go.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, the Cubs stack looks good. Chris Bryant, not Chris Jenner, looks good tonight. Chris Jenner looks weird and kind of like a cat. Chris Bryant, though, seems like a good play. Which Cubs would you be stacking the most if you're going to that lineup a lot?
Yeah, Chris Bryant was a spotlight hitter today. I love him. So Bryant, Baez, Almora, Addison, Russell would be my first 4.
How about Contreras, a catcher?
Yeah, he would pop up a lot more for me on DK if I were doing it, or when I finally do a crunch for DraftKings. Contreras will pop up a lot. He doesn't pop up as much for FanDuel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for me, I have a lot of Contreras tonight, but I also did like that Cubs stack. Trying to think, I think my top stacks tonight, Cubs. I also like the Blue Jays stack for whatever reason. Okay, I feel like that's not one where I've seen mentioned a lot today, but I landed on them. Granderson, Hernandez, Solarte. I think they all look pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I don't have as much as I would have expected. I've got like 15% Granderson, and then like a scattered amount of the rest of the Blue Jays. So like I've got some Blue Jays Brewers, some Granderson one-off, Blue Jays Cubs. So I've got a little bit of it, but I figured I would have a little bit more, but apparently I don't. I'm okay with it though.
And then pitchers again, since people are tuning in, which pitchers are coming up the most for you?
Eduardo Rodriguez by like leaps and bounds, and then it's sort of a smattering of Arrieta, Morton, and Lester.
Okay, so you're going against Morton even against the Yankees?
Yeah.
Or going with Morton, rather.
Yeah, I don't mind it too much. Yankees implied total's only 3.9. Judge not in the lineup tonight. I'll take my chances.
Yeah, that is one big hitter. Stanton's not been as good on the road either, so that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I like the Yankees a little bit, though.
They don't have enough, like, Gardner, Gregorius, and Hicks will be, like, the guys I'd be worried about from the left side of the plate. I'm not so worried about Neil Walker. So, I mean, like, really just Gregorius. You know, Morton has amazing stuff, so I'll take my shot. I'll probably be around the field on Morton. I don't even mind being light on him. I just know that I'll be heavy on Eduardo Rodriguez, so he'll be the driving force for everything.
Yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez should be the top-owned guy. He's got the biggest money line total by a fair amount on the slate. Obviously, Boston also a team that people like to play a lot. So, yeah, I like Rodriguez. Do you have any thoughts on Talon?
Yeah, he's not coming up for me at all.
Okay. That is a thought.
Yeah, he's not a guy that I would be using all that much, particularly on FanDuel. On DK, he kind of blends in with everybody. So if you want Arrieta or Morton or Samardzija or Lester, well, maybe not Lester, like Tanner Roark, like I think that Talon is sort of in that whole mass. I don't have any major opinions on him. If I were playing on DK, my two highest owned pitchers would be Eduardo Rodriguez and probably Lester. So that's where I'm
That's
at.
actually what I had, so I feel good about that now. One guy that Jake advocated for today, at least in his article, I didn't watch your guys' video. Sorry, no offense. But Jan Straley, is he somebody you would ever play in any sort of world?
Yeah, that line's moved a little bit. Straley's a little bit bigger of a favorite. I'm talking about that incorrectly. It shrunk.
He's a little less worse.
He's not. The line has moved to his benefit a little bit. I don't generally like playing guys that are going to be that big of an underdog, but he doesn't grade out all that poorly. He's not the worst starting pitcher too in the world. I see better options, but he's not a full no-go. Like Aaron Sanchez, to me, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. How do you feel about Lance Lynn?
I forgot he played today until right now.
He has. So he's one guy who has like a pretty noticeable home road split so far this year. Obviously, it's only been a couple games. So I've seen him touted a little bit. I think he's actually I like stacking against him. But I have seen a couple articles mention him as like a cheap pivot guy.
I won't have him at all.
Okay, I agree with you. I don't think he's a great play, but yeah. Hey, if you see reason to go with Lance Lynn in your heart, maybe you think he's a great home pitcher. That's going to be something that carries all year in the chat. Go for it.
Updating the Dodgers lineup and the Padres lineup right now. Only one left out there is the Giants for people that are paying attention to that sort of stuff.
Here's one question. I think this guy's on DK from Matthew Prodwell. How about Iannetta and Frazier or Sucre and Wendell?
Where is that? I'd rather have Iannetta and Frazier. Iannetta looks great tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Tampa Bay stack, I think if you were going to go with Tampa Bay and try to stack some guys, Sucre and Wendell are two of the guys who I would look at. I don't have a lot of Iannetta, so I think I would go with Sucre and Wendell personally, but okay. Josh knows more. Playing NBA tonight? Yes, I am. Let's talk NBA. If you have any NBA questions, drop them in. Josh, who are the guys that you would go to? Obviously, it's a showdown slate, so it's super weird. I think FanDuel has the MVP thing again, where you have to pick the one guy. So who would you pick as your MVP? Who are the guys you think are the most, the most likely to succeed tonight in that game?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna open it up and actually look at some of the pricing, at least on FanDuel. I've looked at no basketball like a normal person would today with a nice 10-game slate.
It's a big game one, an exciting game one. Again, the best chance you'll probably have to outsmart people who are going to be using minutes, rotations, and stuff that come out tonight. So if you're thinking a little strategy, it is the best night to play it, I think.
Yeah, I didn't. What's the line on the game?
It's gone down a little bit. Hold on, I don't have it open right now, but I feel like it's at 205 total. And then Sixers are favored by 4, I believe.
4.5 right now is what I see. I hadn't looked at it at all today, so I had no idea.
Yeah, I haven't checked in a couple hours.
That's kind of crazy. You got to use either Embiid or Simmons in the MVP spot, I would guess. If we're talking FanDuel, I'm inclined to like Jason Tatum a little bit. I haven't looked at our rankings at all. Monroe probably grades out pretty well.
Yeah, Monroe is a pretty good value, I believe. I don't have it open right now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we have Monroe as, I think, an A value, but yeah, an A value, but a C projection for points.
Yeah, I would say I'm assuming Simmons or Embiid need to be in the MVP spot. I can't imagine putting a guy from Boston there. So,
I could see going Horford. I mean, Horford hasn't played great versus Philly this year, but he is playing at home, and he was really good at home in that Milwaukee series, like noticeably better. So I could see maybe doing that as a pivot, but I think you're probably right. It's got to be Simmons or Embiid.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add there. I've never really played the single game slates, so like from a structure perspective, I'm not as familiar with it. So I'd hate to give out advice for something that I'm not confident in.
So for DraftKings, the goal is to try to get around 3x overall. I mean, like it's going to be more than that. I think it's going to be closer to like 3.5x to win or so. But it's weird because like this slate's completely different than like the Boston Milwaukee slate we had a couple nights ago, where that was one where I think the winning lineup would have had 2 guys in the 1K range, kind of just to make room to fit a bunch of guys in like the 10K range. Okay. This one, because Simmons and Embiid are so expensive, like you can't really afford to have both unless you're going super cheap. But then there's like there's like more tiers of guys than there were in the Boston Milwaukee one. It's tough. Like honestly, like I think that's sort of why this is probably a pretty big opportunity. The downside is that like we've talked about, and I mentioned in an article, and there was actually like a pretty good write-up in the last Showdown one that was helped out by our COO on how to project, how much ownership your lineup is going to have. I think our ownership projections just went up on Osmo for tonight's slate. But basically, if you multiply the ownership projections of each guy together, and then you'll get a percentage that you can use to figure out how many other people are going to own your lineup in a Showdown. And the goal is to not have like 500 people are going to own your lineup. So
exactly,
if you have like 5 guys who are at 50% ownership, or 6 guys rather, are going to be at 50% ownership, then that means there's probably I think like 600 people who would have your lineup. So you got to try to avoid that. And again, ownership stuff, you sign up for an Osmo premium account, you'll be able to look that up and make those calculations and all that. But it's tough. I mean, these kind of slates are not great. And you're going against guys who are playing 150 lineups, and that kind of exhausts every possible opportunity there is. But I think they tried to price this one so it's a little bit more varied. That's the sense that I got going through, is that you go a couple of different directions, and like you could go with, like, let's say Shane Larkin and who's the other guy? And like Ojale, if you think that the Celtics are going to have to put Ojale out there to defend some of the wings, you could put those guys in there along with some of the higher priced guys, or maybe 2 higher priced guys, and Jason Tatum or Sharch. So there's like a couple directions you can go tonight. Your guess is probably as good as mine. I do like Larkin a little if you're going to try to save money. I don't think that he's a great play, but I think he's like, you need like a guy who can get like 10x, and I think that's sort of what he can do. But Tampa yard percentages, if you look at ownership percentages, there's an explanation in the Switch and Hedge today that I linked to, which explains it better. But basically for ownership percentages, if you multiply all of the ownership together, you get an ownership product, which tells you then how much your line will be in a tournament. So like,
I can give an example in Excel here, because this is something that I used to talk about during the live streams. Actually,
it's like kind of complicated, but it's probably easier if you see Josh spelling it out.
So I'll use the FanDuel structure, but you can use this sort of structure for anything. So let's just say you have the MVP, you know, player 1, player 2, well, let's say guard, forward/center, utility. And ownership percentage will be in this column. So let's say our MVP is 48% owned. And none of the percentages here matter. It's the same system for everything. So let's say we have 48% owned here, and 40 here, and 27 here, and 55 here, and 10 here. What you would do is multiply all of these things together. So I'm going to do just product of this range. You could also select, you could also go like this and do every single one of them. So the chances of everybody having those 5 guys would be 0.285%. You can go a step further than that and divide that like this. So you basically have a 1 in 350 lineup.
Which is not great.
Right. So if there's 20,000 people in there, you know, you're looking at 57 people having that same lineup potentially. This is pretty chalky.
Yeah, and that's sort of the whole name of the game in these one-game slates is finding the guy who's going to be super low owned, and that's why having our projections for that stuff can help. But yeah, if you're making your own too, this is like a good formula to have in general that Josh is putting in there, just so you know where your lineup falls and you're not going too chalky.
It's not like completely the correct way to do this because there's some like correlation to salary. You might not you'll naturally have a lower on a bigger slate for the NBA. It makes a little bit more sense. But like on slates like this, if you have, say, Embiid or Simmons, you're naturally going to need some lower guys. So if you have 60% Embiid and 40% player X, it's not as simple as like 0.6 times 0.4. You know, it's probably a little bit higher than that, but this does give you like a really nice proxy for it.
Yeah, and again, you know, there are a couple of different directions you can go with on tonight's slate, but yeah, I mean, if you have any questions about what guys you're thinking, again, I mean, there's really not a lot of super cheap guys you can go to, but Baines is getting the start. You know, maybe Ojale gets minutes off the bench, though. Actually, I think that if Ojale is not starting, I don't think he's going to get like even above 20 minutes. You know, and Ojale is a guy who's not putting up stats anyway, so that would worry me a little bit. And actually need to switch out some of my Ojales now. But I think this is a game too where Stevens is going to figure it out on the fly. So it's possible Monroe gets some run, Baines gets run, Ojale. Those 3 guys I feel like are pretty fungible.
Agreed.
Let's see. MLB questions, we can go back to that now if you guys have anything good. Beto's asking, he has Escobar and Story as fill-ins. Do you like them? He's not sure where to go for third base.
I love Story. I assume we're looking for third base. Let me hop to DK.
Wait, so you like both Lester and Story?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you got to pick one.
I won't have them. They won't both be in the same lineup.
Right.
I like Lester less now that line has grown. When this finally crunches out, Eduardo Rodriguez is the guy that's really going to be carrying my weight. If you have Eduardo Escobar in right now, I don't have much of a problem there. Like Chris Bryant's the far and away best third baseman on the board tonight. Escobar looks fine. I think Longoria looks okay. Solarte is nice if you want to go Blue Jays. Duffy looks fine if you want to go Rays. But, you know, Twins have a nice implied total, so if you've got a bunch of Twins, Escobar works in part of that stack.
How many minutes do you have, Aaron? It is a different sport, but how many minutes do you have Aaron Baines for tonight?
I didn't do any projections for the single game.
Okay. Never mind then. Sorry, Deep Dapiana. I would guess he's in the 20-minute range, but he has seen up to 30 minutes when starting just last series, so there is a chance. Actually, here's a question on baseball. Jeff Samardzija, do you like him at all?
A little bit. On FanDuel, I'll probably have, I don't know, 4 or 5 lines with him. On DK, I think he'd be fine. as a either one of your two lower price starters, or if you went like Morton and Samardzija and punt bats, I think that's okay too. He's just sort of there. He's priced where he should be. It is appealing to get the Padres at a 3.4 run implied total, but it's not something I'm like wild about. He's way down the list for me.
Yeah, I feel like he's been held up as one of the value pitchers to go to tonight. I didn't love him. I don't see any reason to go to him. Like, I personally like Lester more. I think you can get to him pretty easily. I don't mind Arrieta. I mean, obviously he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate, but I got to him in a couple lineups. I think Rodriguez, you're right, is the top guy. Rodriguez, Lester, and Arrieta are really the three I had the most. I don't see any other guy who really pops off the page to me. People are trying to talk themselves into these like less chalky guys, but I would rather go with the guys who seem to have the most upside, and those three seem pretty clear cut.
Agreed.
Let's see. Anything good? Thoughts on Daniel Robertson, just in general in life, both as a human being and a baseball player?
I don't know. I don't really have. But I know that's not my job.
Well,
so
I tried to make it broad, so if you could at least think shitty things of him as a human.
Let's
Get
see what
something
I have
there.
him in right now.
I think Robertson's okay. I think I have Robertson in one lineup.
I don't think I have him at all.
He was one of the guys who stood out as okay on the race to go with, so I think I have one with him and Wendell and Miller, I believe.
I don't think I have any bit of him right now.
He's not a great play, but he is a play on a team with like a pretty high run total projected, which doesn't seem obvious about where they're going to get that from.
He grades out really poorly on FanDuel. Okay, so I guess I understand why he's being asked about. Robertson is minimum salary on DK tonight. He's set at 2,000. Wait, am I doing this again? Is this the other Daniel Robertson? I hate this.
Wait, no, he's not minimum salary, but he's pretty cheap.
No. So there's two Daniel Robertsons, and when I sort this, sometimes it gets jacked up. I need to put a fix in for it. Jake and I ran into this issue a little while back. It's the stupid double naming of people. I said this. It should be like the Screen Actors Guild. Everybody has to have a unique name. Okay, so
I agree.
He's 3,700 on DK. He's still too expensive on FanDuel, so that's why he's not showing up at all for me. He's a little bit more playable on DK, particularly because of the dual eligibility.
Morton or Gray in a 2-game turbo DK. I feel like I don't like Gray at all, so I would go Morton.
Yeah, I would agree.
Speaking of Gray, who might get shelled tonight as he always does, as the most overhyped Yankee pitcher of the last 5 years. What are your thoughts on Houston stacks tonight? They're overpriced, but aren't they going to be underowned?
Yeah, they're probably going to be underowned. I'm not ending up with a ton of them because of their price point. I just think there's better options out there. I totally understand why someone would want to build a lineup with them. I just don't think that they're the best option.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're not going to do super great tonight based on the total. And and Gray's like not a great pitcher. He could get shelled, but I don't think it's that likely based on the team total. He's going to get rocked.
I don't have them at all.
What was that?
I don't have them at all. So if anybody's curious,
yeah. I mean, none of the guys really jump out as being as a particularly great play tonight. I don't think worth paying up for when you can go a little cheaper. Boom, boom, boom. Trey Turner's stolen base upside. Okay. It's not a great question. But do you believe that Trey Turner has stolen base upside?
I mean, can he steal a base? Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's further down the road for me than what I'm looking at.
Oh, here's a good one. From Nick Sherman. I make Jake do this sometimes. So I like putting him on the spot, and he gives me usually a spicy take. So I'm doing it to you now, Josh. One guy who's going yard tonight. Pick one.
One guy to go yard tonight?
Yeah.
I feel like I should give like a good answer, but not like a real to me the answer is Chris Bryant. But I feel like that's a corny answer.
I go Lorenzo Cain.
Let's say Javier Baez.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like Bryant or Baez too. I would go, JD Martinez too was going to be my third pick. I think it's Martinez, Kane or one of the Cubs would be my many picks for this thing where you have to pick one.
Give me Baez.
If I had to choose one, I think I'm going Kane. I just like Kane in it. Do you ever run multiple crunches and chop up the Excel if you have a lot of stacks?
I don't, but you can.
Okay. I don't know what that question means.
So like instead of ripping off 150 straight, you could do 75 with just a very specific group of teams,
Gotcha.
and then fold in like another 75 of everybody else if you wanted to make sure you had a specific amount of, say, like if you were really on, I don't know, the Reds tonight, you could run 20 with that guarantee a red stack and then build the other 130 after that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't honestly used baseball, Fantasy Cruncher baseball at all. I've been making all my lineups by hand because of the stacking and stuff. And also, I just don't want to pay for Fantasy Cruncher. I don't have the free lifetime thing that Josh has. The not at all something thing that Josh has. I mean, so I'm not paying for it. I don't fuck that.
I'd like to think that I've provided a decent amount of free publicity by sharing my screen and showing the crunches for a while. So
I feel like they should give, if you work in the industry, they should just give you one for free, or even do work in the industry, whatever. Like I do. Like I feel like I'm doing enough. I'm talking about it every day, and I sometimes screenshot it. I think I deserve a freebie too. But you know what? Maybe I won't even mention them anymore. Anonymous something crunch.
I'm sure they're watching too.
They probably are, and probably real mad that I'm not giving them free plugs. Sorry, site that optimizes the lineups. I'm not talking about you anymore unless you give me freebies.
Here, let me hop into the Fantasy Cruncher Slack quick.
Excuse me, what? I don't know that site. They're actually joining the list of sites that we can't name, in my mind at least, until they give me freebies.
I'll ask them in their Slack.
Yeah, please. If they'll give me a freebie, I'll mention them again. Until then,
I don't even know if the Slack still exists. I just know that I have the ability to get to it.
You're the VIP of the VIP. You're doing like I can't even say it. I had an Avengers reference, but I won't do it.
I wouldn't have got it.
No, you wouldn't have, but somebody in chat would have. Somebody in chat might get it right now, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Person in chat, and I hope you appreciate that. Brock asks, what do you think of the Minnesota stack? I couldn't find any good people to stack there. I wanted to get there, didn't do it.
I like it a lot. I'm not getting a ton of them. They look a little bit better on DK, but I'd be Mauer, Rosario, Kepler, Eduardo Escobar. I think as a 2, 3, 4, 5 is pretty damn good.
Yeah, nobody jumped off the page to me statistically. Like Lorenzo Cain jumped off in the categories that I try to check, that we've been told to check. But nobody on the Minnesota side really stuck out to me like that. So that's why I ended up going with more of the Brewers, more with the Sox. But yeah, there's a lot of credible reasons to go with Minnesota. Do you feel like a Philly stack versus the Marlins tonight is contrarian?
I would have said yes, but I've had so many people mention it to me now, independent of each other, that I have no idea any longer. I don't see it. I don't want it. I'm not interested. But everybody keeps mentioning it to me, so now I have no concept. Reese looks pretty good tonight. Besides that, I didn't really think it was that great, especially playing at Marlins Park. But so if people think it's that sneaky and it's also kind of not a great park matchup, I think there's a pretty valid reason to not go there. Yeah, I can't. It's not one that I get to. If I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, and they're low owned at least.
Wait, hold up. How do you delete an item from chat?
From the Restreamo
chat? I got it.
I was gonna say you can't.
Yeah, I just needed please do not put Avengers spoilers in the chat, or you will get banned. Don't be a dick. I'm not gonna bet anybody being a dick about giving away spoilers.
I didn't even see it.
I think I got rid of it fast enough. Yeah. Okay. All good. Corey Seager just got ruled out for the season, apparently.
Really?
At least according to Dawasian Spawn Trap. Is he a noted fake newser in the chat?
I don't know. We're about to find out. Corey Seager, Tommy John surgery, out for the year. Holy shit.
Oh, there you go. He's one of Jake's favorite guys, too. Sad day for Jake. Pour one out for Jake Ari.
Pour one out for Corey Seager.
Well, you know, he's a millionaire athlete. Jake Hari was the man who loves him, just supports him left and right. Yeah, A1 Dance CD, that kind of spoiler about the Avengers, that it's a good movie and worth a watch, that's fine. But don't drop a plot point. Don't be a dick. That's a Redditor move, not a YouTuber move. That's what I'll go with. Shortstop picks. Who are your top shortstops on the night?
Pull it up. We'll take a look. All right. Well, yeah, we'll pull it up and take a look. 6:39. I need that Giants lineup to come out. I don't want to have to deal with this. Shortstops. So Addison Russell for me is pretty high on the list, particularly on FanDuel. It's only 2,400, kind of an outlandish price. If you're looking for somebody near the top of the salary list, I think Trey Turner looks okay on both sites. I think Jose Peraza looks good on both sites. Orlando Arcia, I think, is okay if you want to pay down all the way. But Addison Russell is the guy that I'd have the most of because I'm going to have a ton of Cubs.
Does Eduardo Nunez have shortstop eligibility on FanDuel?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I like him. I'm adding up with a lot of him tonight. I know he's a little down the order, but I thought his numbers checked out.
Yeah, he's priced a little bit better on DK than he is on FanDuel, but I don't have I'll have a decent amount of him because of the Red Sox stacks.
Okay, yeah. So I like Nunez. I had a fair amount of him. I also I like Didi a little bit tonight. I just feel like Didi's been hitting it really well. His numbers checked out for me. I have like one stack with Didi. It was before Aaron Judge got rolled out, but I kind of stuck with it because I just felt like Judge was a really good play tonight. But Didi, you know, I'm okay with it. Just to be contrarian. Yes, Tony Stark is Iron Man. That's like another example of an acceptable Avengers spoiler. Again, don't just... You know what, Josh? One day you're going to have to start. That should be our next bet. You have to watch 20 hours of Marvel movies to catch up.
I got some time on my hands.
Just put them onto the background. It'll seep into your brain like osmosis.
I've got a flight to California coming up soon. I can bang out a couple of them at least.
Ooh. Beto, do I support an MLB team? I do not currently. I grew up a Yankees fan, but they kind of lost me in the whole buying everyone and the A-Rods of the world era. It was tough to start rooting for guys that you grew up hating. That just kind of kills baseball for me. So yeah, that's what killed me out on baseball, and I basically only watched on the periphery for many years until this year. What do you think about a red stack tonight?
I don't have as much of it as I would like, since they're like the babies that drove me to that solid third place finish. They're okay. They're priced really well, so you can get to them pretty easily. So like, you know, if you wanted to do Winker, Votto, Schebler, I think that looks fine. Votto looks incredible. I really like him tonight. So you can get to a red stack. They're not somebody that I'm getting a ton of. I don't know. I'm about to do my last crunch. Giants lineup just came out, so I'll be giving you guys like actual information of what I'm doing.
Actually, I kind of like a Giant stack tonight too. I have one, maybe two, which I didn't mind. Wasn't my favorite on the night. Definitely like the Cubs and the Sox more, and the Brewers, but you can stack the Giants tonight.
Probably.
It's my thought. Actually, I'm pulling it up right now, the one that I had. Although Longoria I liked a lot. Actually, that's one I walked backwards into because I was like, Longoria really stood out to me as a good play tonight.
I liked him earlier this morning.
Yeah, I won with Longoria, Belt. Belt was my least favorite of the stack, but he's in there. Belt, Posey, Longoria, Crawford, and McCutchen, who has not hit well yet for them, but in general should have better hitting numbers. And I think he's going to regress to the mean soon. At least that's my hope.
Alrighty, now we can find out exactly what I'm doing. Let's load this up.
We need sound effects and music.
Pew, pew.
Pew. I was thinking more of like a trumpet, like a...
YouTube has that sort of stuff, like in freely available audio. I can just start clicking around.
That seems like a lot more effort to queue up YouTube videos.
Do I need to start working on a soundboard?
Yeah, that's right. We need like an old school Shock Jock DJ soundboard.
All right, I'll put that on the list. I'm not even
I guess
kidding.
I can do that on my end too. I can just play sound effects. That'd be fun.
Yeah, oh, that's my.
We'll just all have sound effects. We'll ruin the live stream with shit to entertain ourselves. Or we could just like Bismarcky it. I mean, to be honest, my trumpet was pretty good. Like, I don't know if that came through as well, but like I was actually pretty pleased with the sound I got out of my hands.
I think I did a decent Bismarcky there, but I don't want to do it too loud because if it's wrong, it's really an uncomfortable sound for everyone. So.
We already discussed Corey Seager being out for the year, but I appreciate people checking in. It's like people are joining the video just to break news to us. We have a bunch of little Wojnarowskis here just fucking just popping in and giving, but baseball.
That's
baseball.
A bummer, man.
Yeah, it sucks. Good Dodgers team.
Yeah, that's going to cost them, a couple wins this year.
Would you play a Stripling lineup tonight, Josh?
Maybe one. I don't see the need to pay down all the way. He grades out really well, like on a dollar for dollar basis, but I find it hard to ever go down that far on a day where there's 10 games. There's enough value out there that you don't need to. Like when Jake and I were doing the show, we locked in maybe Eduardo Rodriguez and Charlie Morton, and we were still able to do like Astros, Brewers stacks and Cubs whatever stacks. So like you don't have to go all the way down there to get good bats. I think you're probably getting too cute. If you're playing 150 lines and you've got them in 1 or 2, I think that's all you really need to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No trust in the Stripling no, Josh?
I mean, I guess it could happen. He's got good stuff. He's just not like... He's not going to be able to throw 9 innings.
It seems like one of those, like we talk about with basketball a lot, one of the diminishing returns things where, why go to him when you get somebody you can get 20 to 25 points for, and you can still fit most of the guys you want in your stacks anyway.
Yeah, like I'd rather have, I don't know, Samardzija and Eduardo Rodriguez and still be able to get whatever bat I wanted.
Yeah, like if you know something about Stripling and his girlfriend's been withholding sex from him because she thinks he's going to perform better and won't sleep with him again until he throws a perfect game. Sure, then then play him. But I think otherwise you don't need to do it, unless you got that great Vegas information about the quality of his testicles. Then why go there? Exactly. Josh, are you not putting out NBA projections on 1-game slates?
No, I'm not.
Josh, why are you protesting 1-game slates?
You guys are lucky you get them on a 2-game slate at this point.
We do have projections, or we do have rankings on Awesemo.com if you're a premium member, so you can get those. That's where the money's made, both for us and for you, if you get those, because you're getting a lot of information that people don't currently have, because nobody's covering showdown slates currently at any sort of depth. So sign up for a premium membership on Awesemo.com.
Yeah, so for the 5 of you that care about that, we'll make sure we churn out a ton of content.
There's a 41,000 person tournament, so even if everybody's max ordering besides me, that's still several thousands of people. That's right, Fernando Gomes, 1-game slates matter. All slates matter, I would say.
Oh, here we go now.
I'm not going to protest. I just want people to know that if I had a shirt on right now with something about slates, it would say #all slates matter. And black slates matter. Really just any kind of slate. Let's see. No good questions. Are you wearing a John Cena shirt? You are. I could tell that.
I am.
I like how you wear John Cena shirts like they're one of your team things. Like you're just you have a theme going and you're supporting John Cena's team tonight.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly how it is. We happen to have some friends in town, and they have kids, and one of the kids was watching Ferdinand, or whatever the hell that actual movie is called. I guess John Cena is the voice of that bull, so it was in my head when I looked in my closet.
so wow. So I didn't realize you went that many layers deep on the reason you picked your wardrobe for the day.
I think it was just on my mind.
Interesting.
The movie was sneaky okay, actually.
I feel like it's hard. I think they have those down to a science now, where you can make an animated movie about any sort of thing. Like a piece of paper gets lost, it has to find its family, and it's it'll be fine. It's not gonna be terrible.
Exactly.
Fading Oubre was still a decision. Again, we're talking. It's all relative. You should never play 100% Kelly Oubre, but I stand by that. Like, that was what the data said, was to play the guy. Like, if you're playing one lineup, then you play Kelly Oubre because you're – well, actually, no, that's not true. If you're playing, like, 10 lineups, you play 5 Kelly Oubre lineups because it's pretty obvious that, like, he's a value play, but also that he has some risk. That's what the approach is for everything. So I will advocate for Kelly Oubre until I die, but, boy, he would have been helpful if he hit one of those shots. He kept jacking up these terrible threes, and I was like, come on, Kelly, can you do anything? And he just didn't. He just didn't.
There are also other nights where all of our slam dunks hit and our boss wins the tournament.
Yeah, including this weekend. That's true. Yeah. I mean, look, the playoffs are tough, man. Like, I played Miles Turner yesterday, and I fucking hate Miles Turner. But, like, it made sense to me why you'd play Miles Turner. So I was like, fine. And, I mean, it fucking blew. Miles Turner was not good and was frustrating. Oh, well, Lord, is Miles Turner frustrating. That's one I'm glad to not see again. I'm very sad I might not see review again, but God, if I ever have to see Miles Turner again, I will hit my face on something. Oh.
I was listening to the beginning of the new Simmons podcast, and they were talking about trades, and I wanted to look at this, and I don't want to forget to do it. So since it's baseball and nobody gives a shit, I'm going to look at
the Miles Turner-McCollum trade?
No. So I was thinking something more along the lines of Jabari for Miles Turner. Okay, so Miles Turner has more time left. I thought Miles Turner was restricted this year, but it's next year.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Bucks could certainly use a better center, which would be Turner, and then Jabari doesn't necessarily fit. Turner doesn't need the same sort of touches. Jabari to the Pacers as like a second creator made sense to me.
I can't imagine Jabari. Jabari's a free agent this year, right? So he'd have to sign a trade.
He's restricted. I
mean, he'd have to. I don't know. I can't imagine him wanting to be signed and traded to the Pacers, even though that's like a good team and it would make sense.
I don't know, man. If let's say it's Corey Joseph, Oladipo, Bojan, Jabari, and Sabonis next year. Like, I mean, that's a good team. Young too.
Yeah, it depends what he's looking for, I guess. Like, I think he's a guy who I could see being more of the, I was a top 3 pick, let me go to a major market. But I mean, he does like just want to play ball too. I could see him going either way, to be honest. Maybe going to Chicago for a homecoming thing where they like could join the Young Bulls.
Yeah, he could have him.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Young Bulls. I like any of those crappy teams who kind of have a couple guys with some moxie. So I would like to see him on a team like that. But Giannis seems to think they're going to re-sign him, which I don't see at all. But
unless he takes a major discount,
or unless Giannis just demands it and is like, "You're bringing in a new coach, like." He had somebody who can use the both of us. I think you can use the both of them. They looked really good for stretches with Jabari playing the 5, like pseudo 5. I didn't mind that, but yeah, I don't know. I would rather see like Miles Turner on Portland, to be honest. Like, I think Miles Turner for McCollum is a pretty good deal.
What do you do with Nurkic?
I mean, you should in theory be able to use Turner as a stretch 4. Like, he can shoot. He doesn't like rebounding anyway.
So you're going to pay Turner and Nurkic?
I think you try it out for a year. Like, I think they both can play pretty fast. I mean, I don't know that makes the team better, but I think like they just need to try something after they got swept. And in theory, like that's how you defend AD better, is you have Turner then, and you could bring Nurkic off the bench. Like you could do some creative things. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Nurkic, but I think Turner would, in like NBA logic, would count as an upgrade.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Because they just want guys who are like young and athletic, and then just sort it out. And I feel like that's why you go to Turner and you'd be like, well, he's young and athletic, and whatever. And that's also like the Trailblazers MO. Just keep getting big bodies who are kind of mediocre, and none of them are good enough. Like Zach Collins is gonna be another guy, or they're gonna try it out for the next 4 years, and it'll be in the Myers Leonard role while they bring in some other new guy. It's a circle of life on the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I don't see that one being able to happen.
Forget Miles Turner. Not similar to Hibbert in play style, but yeah, the Pacers have had a couple of big busts. Sabonis, though, is legit. I was bummed they just couldn't let go and just couldn't put Sabonis in as a starter because he was good and very effective. Man, that team could have been better. That team should have won that series, but LeBron is historically great this year. Actually, what's your pick for the next round, Josh? Who do you have advancing?
I haven't even looked at the series odds. So I assume the Raptors are pretty sizable favorites.
I don't check series odds, so I don't know. I just go game by game. But I would presume, unless the LeBron factor is so big that they got a little closer to even. He has owned the Raptors.
So obviously, I'm going Sixers in this scenario. Raptors minus 200, so I'm going Raptors.
Okay. I like LeBron to steal this one. I think this is all building to, and I picked this before the playoffs. This is building to a Ben Simmons LeBron championship, or conference championship round. And that little preview they had this season, like if they can get a 7-game or 6-game series of LeBron like passing the torch to Ben Simmons, like that's like a WWE storyline come to real life.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's what I want to happen, but I don't know, man. They're like
LeBron was amazing last series, like amazing. He started shooting threes, like
they're really bad.
They're
really,
not a good
really
team.
Bad.
Tristan Thompson's back though. He had his redemption story after having threesome adultery on his pregnant wife.
Good for him.
Hearing the Cleveland people cheer for him, like it's funny that he's got at least one place now.
But she's
in the
pregnant?
world, like, as every woman in the world hates him.
She's pregnant?
She was pregnant when he cheated, or had just had the baby, one of the two.
Oh, I didn't even know they had a baby.
Yeah, no, that's a bad one. That's one you don't want to cross. Philly is not too young. That is Philly's. Bill Simmons has talked about this a lot, and again, this isn't the Bill Simmons sideshow where we always just reference his show. But I think that like Philly's plays with balls in a way that young players don't. Like the Bucks are a young team where you're like, I don't trust that. Whereas the Sixers have played with a certain degree of gravitas all year that is usually the issue for a young team. But I think both Simmons, Moxie, and Embiid's kind of arrogance, and then you have Bellinelli, you have Redick, you have Amir Johnson, you have Ilyasova. You have a lot of older guys who still have some youth in their legs, but have been around the block. And I think that's like kind of the perfect combination you want if you have a young team. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I think it's Sixers, Cavs, and I think the Sixers advance in that and go against the winner of Warriors, Rockets.
I hope.
Sucks to Ricky Rubio. That hurts.
Like I told you shouldn't have him.
But you could tell, though, like they were a much worse team without Rubio. It was like tangible on the floor. I think they would lose to the Rockets either way. But at least now us Rubio fans, all 50 of us outside of Salt Lake City, can hold steadfast that Ricky Rubio would have been a deciding factor in the series versus the Rockets. Unquestionably.
I could question it.
Unquestionably. Irrevocable difference maker. Kevin Love is going to be 6K before long. That is accurate. Kevin Love is terrible. He'll be better this series, though, I think. He should be able to do some stuff against Ibaka. You know who's going to be good this series for the Raptors is Jonas. This is going to be a big Jonas series because they have nobody, and he's a much better Tristan Thompson.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I love Jonas. Jonas is like Jonas has moxie, and he's a little less athletic than Tristan, but like he can do some things. He can spread a little, and he plays angry. I think we saw the best Tristan Thompson we're going to see this year. Is Jalen playing? He's doubtful. I think he's still a game time decision technically.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. The hamstring stuff, as we're seeing with Rubio right now, you don't want to mess around with that. He was really hurt in that game, and he could have come back because he's a gamer and he wants to be out there. But I don't think they need him. Honestly, I think the Celtics lose the series either way. It's not worth it.
There you go.
Jonas is the Ricky Rubio of centers. That's fair in some respects. I don't want to always root for white guys, though. I do like black players. Just to be clear, a great many of them, including Ben Simmons tonight. Anything else for baseball? You want to hit before lock there? Got 7 minutes.
I'm going to run like a couple lines for DK if people are curious what it would have looked like.
All right. Yeah, let's see what you have compared to what I have. I've been doing great on DK baseball. Tell you what.
I'll run 100 lines. We'll see what the exposures end up being. Yeah, I'm ready for non-one game slates of NBA, but I'm really excited to watch this game tonight.
I think this is going to be a good one. I think it's going to be one of those feeling each other out games. Like this series is going to be a lot like a boxing match. We're going to see some guys throwing jabs, like they're trying to figure out the range, how to make it work. Because like the Sixers could blow the doors off the series pretty fast if the Celtics aren't careful.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble keeping up.
Yeah, I think so. There's just too many guys who can score on that Sixers side.
So it's looking like Cubs, Brewers, and Red Sox would be my top 3 stacks on DK. And then lots of Rodriguez, Lester, Samardzija, Morton, and Arrieta.
So you basically have everybody I have, except I faded Morton.
Yeah, I got a decent amount of Morton.
Let's see, Justin Awalt has asked us questions and is now whining, so I'll answer his question because apparently whining works. Arrieta and Santana or Rodriguez and JD on a FanDuel GPP? I guess Rodriguez and JD.
I don't even understand the question.
Arrieta and Santana or Rodriguez and JD Martinez?
Why are we talking about pitchers and hitters in the same time? What's Santana? Carlos?
I don't know. He might be looking for something smooth.
Okay, so I see this now. So it's Phillies, Arrieta, and Santana, or Rodriguez and JD. So Red Sox. Probably Arrieta and Santana.
Really? Even with all the Red Sox stacks?
Yeah, if it's a FanDuel GPP, I like Arrieta a lot. And I think Santana grades out really well. They'll probably be less owned.
I love Martinez, and I have a lot of Rodriguez, so I definitely would go Martinez and Rodriguez.
That was not the structure of a question I was ready for with one pitcher and one hitter.
I mean, it was an odds. I kind of got what he was doing because I was like, oh, I made the same choice earlier.
Once I saw Arrieta and Rodriguez, I thought it was 2 different groups of 2 pitchers for DK, so I was really confused.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I was like, oh, JD, like I was looking at the DraftKings pitchers list to think like, okay, is this just a guy whose first and last name is JD? I couldn't get to it in my head.
Okay, that's convenient excuse, Joshua.
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Convenient.
I'm glad, actually, it's weird that you used Fantasy Cruncher in your projections and you ended up with very similar ownership to what I had, like that I made by hand.
Cubs and Brewers are the 2 biggies. Boston sneaks in there a little bit. Who's next? Probably the Nats are showing up a little bit. Astros, maybe?
I was curious about the Nats. I didn't go there, but Bryce looks kind of good tonight. Anthony Rendon looks kind of okay tonight. He's in the lineup, right? I think so.
That's a good question. I don't see him. He's not showing up for me.
I didn't stack him, so I don't know. But maybe he's not in the lineup. So good. Fuck him then.
Yeah, you could do like a Roark, Samardzija, Cubs, and Nats stack. You can do Nats and Cubbies, Nats and that's just a Trey Turner one-off. Looks like Tanner Roark's coming along for the ride in a lot of these, which is fine.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of Arrieta on the warning track in Miami. I think that's sort of why I don't mind Arrieta tonight.
I don't mind holding my breath on the warning track. You can catch balls on the warning track.
That's true. Does they just have to not go out? That is how baseball works. Play all the Celtics plus Simmons is what HM Kills with a Z says. And if you're killing with a Z, you must know what you're talking about. So sure.
That's very true.
I actually do have one lineup, which is all the Celtics and Simmons. So I won't totally hate on it, but I definitely put it down and was like, is that the right move? And I stopped that thought process.
I'm going to look at one specific lineup on DK right now. So I want to look at Samardzija and Eduardo Rodriguez and see how many like crazy bat lineups there are. Yeah, you can do crazy shit like with that lineup. Eduardo Rodriguez, Samardzija, and basically any of my favorite stacks work.
I have a Cubs Sox stack with Rodriguez and Samardzija.
I'm looking at one right now.
I hope it's not the same one. Because mine is real special.
Mine won't be entered in any DK lines, so. Although I am going to be moving some money over to DraftKings to play some balanced stuff across both.
Hey, there we go. That's how you get a toe in the water. It is pretty different. Like the fact you guys have utility on FanDuel. Like there are sometimes I just can't get to a guy because I'm trying to stack, and it sucks. And it's different though. It's like a different approach. Obviously,
I saw a tournament in my price range, so that works for me.
Alex the Great. Alex the Great likes Embiid because he's gone off against Boston this season. I actually like Embiid more than Ben Simmons, to be honest. Just because I think they can do things to stop Simmons, whereas Embiid, as Alex the Great is saying, they're going to have a tougher time stopping. So I definitely have more Embiid than Simmons tonight. But I wouldn't be surprised if either were effective. Like Simmons has been a different player since he played the Celtics this year. I think the last time they played was January. And the strides that Simmons has made in the last 3 months, especially when Embiid went out.
He's been nuts.
Yeah, he's gone to a whole nother level. I mean, and Josh is a noted Simmons hater. Believe you called him a piece of dog shit, at least in general. Implied that.
Chair fell again. Oh my god. yes, he's definitely a piece of dog shit. That probably came out of my mouth.
Yeah, I think you could throw things at Simmons to slow him down. I mean, and I think Brad Stevens in general is going to realize, or in particular rather, is going to be like, oh yeah, like we can stop this guy who can't shoot threes in a variety of ways. And I think for this game at least, I think Simmons is held somewhat in check.
Look, when push comes to shove, he's still crazy young and, in theory, a rookie. Like, he's going to make a lot of mistakes. But getting those out of the way now, before they're really ready in the next year or two, is what you're playing for here.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, like, Simmons is going to get better throughout the series. Like, I could see him having a tough game tonight with Smart. A tougher time if Brown were in there. But I think with Smart on him, he's going to have some issues. If they bring in Semi to guard him, that could be interesting too, because Semi's going to just keep him out of the paint with that fucking burly build that he's got. He's going to make it tough on Simmons. So I think there's a lot of ways they can go to make it hard on him. Whereas Embiid, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have Aaron Baines chase him. You're going to have Horford chase him. You're going to have Greg Monroe on the floor trying to keep him out of the box and then have to spread Greg Monroe out. Like, I don't even know.
Good luck there.
I don't know. That's like a tough matchup. So I think Embiid's a better play tonight. But I wouldn't be shocked by either doing well. Like, that team is really good. The Sixers are a very smart team. So we'll see. Who's my all NBA white guy starting five? That's interesting. Kevin Love was on there until these playoffs. Oh, it's got to be now. You have one in your head? Current players.
Like, to try to win, or like my favorite white people?
I think the best starting five you could build. Like, the starting five that would win games.
Okay. Kevin Love. Can we name 5 white people? How white? Like,
they could be European white.
Okay. Who am I missing that's obvious?
I mean, you're Jonas and Ricky Rubio. See, I would go all European guys, I think, because we don't have a lot of great American white guys, and I think the European guys will play a style which works.
Actually,
so I would go Jonas.
Porzingis and Kevin Love.
Porzingis has got to be in there.
Redick. I like a lot of boobs answer.
Jokic, Jokic
I think
over.
would be perfect. They can both stretch the floor. Porzingis can make up for Love's inability to protect the rim. I think they would play off each other really nicely.
I don't mind the Ingles one. I think
Ingles
lineup
could fit a team really well there. We need
he
a
could spread the floor.
Or maybe we don't really.
Ooh, Marcus Sol is not a bad play. Man, you know what? It's nice that like white guys in the NBA, like there are ones where they're not just tokens. I'm happy for them.
Do we
but
count?
Jokic, I think, has
I
got to be.
don't know if I can count Rubio as white.
He's Spanish white, which is I think that's pretty white.
I don't know. That's an interesting one.
He does change it. You know who's going to replace him next year anyways? Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Like, nobody rolls into Spain and is like, look at all these white people.
No, but Spain is, I mean, depending on the region, like, pretty fair-skinned.
Sure.
Yeah, Beto. Beto is in the region.
I don't really know how to answer this any longer. We're going to get into a really weird religious, not religious, I don't know, location-based who is white and who is not white in this entire thing. So I
think Jokic and Rubio alone, and then Sarge. I wouldn't put Hayward on my team. I'm a known Hayward hater.
You're crazy.
I think he's the most overrated max player in the NBA, and I think the Celtics own 2 of the most overrated max players in the NBA. But they're well coached, so it works out.
You're the worst.
Horford and Hayward are like, get out of here. I name another max player, I'd take him over them by far.
Otto Porter.
That's okay. That's a tough one. So
if the Wizards would trade Otto Porter for Hayward in a nanosecond.
The thing is, I think Porter's a better athlete and can do more stuff. He just hasn't tapped into it yet. So, I don't know. Whatever. Best Asian starting 5. I mean, we could do an all-time one. I'd roll the Yao Ming, Jeremy Lin starting. Like, fill out the rest with
name anybody else.
Guangzhou on the Rockets. We got Yi Jianliang.
Yeah. Now we're just naming the only Asian people we've ever known in the league.
David Chang, the owner of Momofuku. That's Hugard. Zhao Qi, that's it. Zhao Qi. Or Qi Zhao, and if we're in Chinese. Yeah, actually, let's look at ownership for baseball while we're on. Why not? We're about to wrap up, guys. If you have any last-minute basketball questions, get them in.
What are the early games? Will it matter? Okay, so I'll want to see my Cubs ownerships.
Wilson Contreras is at 29% owned. John Lester 13%. Baez 30%. Addison Russell 7%. Alvin Almora 13%. Chris Bryant
16%. Let's see what I have him at. I'll probably be right around there.
Oh, Brandon Crawford's out, huh? Shit. Who's starting at shortstop for the Giants? Probably find out in a second.
Kelby Tomlinson.
Oh, that's a human. Okay.
All right, I have 11% Lester. Wait, that's not who I wanted to look at. I've got 19% Arrieta. He's 16, so that's fine. VR is 10. Kane is 18, so that could be interesting. I've got, Brewers are going to be my linchpin tonight. I've got Kane at 45. He's 18, so yeah, if the Brewers pop, I'm going to pop.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way that sounded. You kind of just buried the lead there with you just saying you're going to pop.
Yeah, I guess. Where are the Cubs?
Any news?
Okay, so yeah, Cubs and Brewers are going to be everything and more to me.
A1 Dan CD, any new exclusive premium content? This week I'm probably going to be doing my first video with Osmo because the first one that we actually did got eaten by my computer. So that'll be coming up on Wednesday. It'll be a Q&A with Osmo, where we'll use Twitter questions and just me interviewing him, like a vampire, like interview with a vampire, but he's not a vampire. He's just a smart, rich guy.
Yeah. He's been traveling this week, so he'll be back in town tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, so that'll be coming, I think, on Wednesday or so. But and besides that, the premium stuff really right now, the main offering is going to be the rankings and ownership projections. Those have been very helpful. And again, Osmo won this week. Both Osmo and our guy Tom, who's our COO at Osmo, finished first in the last showdown game with Boston and Milwaukee. So there are some real bona fides there. I don't know what they've done on FanDuel. I'm sure they've pulled money down there too. So there's a lot of value there in terms of like just getting access to his data and the guys he's looking at. Even like the Pascal Siakams of the world, you can see why he ended up going there in the tournament that he won on DK. And it's not something that we talked about or that I was even thinking about, but he was in on a Pascal Siakam for just enough out of his lineups to take, I think, like maybe 20 of the top 100 spots.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of worthwhile stuff there where it's just you're also seeing what the information is that a pro player is using. And that alone has value where this is literally his projections that he puts grades towards and his ownership projections he uses to build lineups. So, there's value in that. And we're building more things as we go. The live stream is not going to be premium though. So that's one item that we won. We won. Did it for you guys.
Exactly.
see. Anything else? Shabazz Muhammad of the night. Oh. I think that's Larkin. It's got to be Shane Larkin. I think Larkin can get you 10x on DK at $1,600. So I'll go with Shane Larkin as my Shabazz.
There you go. I don't have one. I'm not paying attention to it. Go baseball.
Yeah, and I think that's Echo Steven Edwards. No optimizer yet. Who knows what the future will hold? But the goal with the Awesemo.com premium membership is to make it the best offering in the world. And we give you guys a lot for free too. So the hope is, we want to get you to be in part of all of it, where you're on this live stream hearing from us. You're watching Josh's videos with Jake and his solo stuff. Like we're trying to put a lot of different offerings out there and make it the most valuable package you can get in the DFS industry. So every single day we're doing things. What do we think about Baines? I like Baines. I think Baines is a good play, especially if he's starting. I think he'll be a little overowned because he's starting, but he's a good play. And
It'd be better if Baines was a baseball player.
Baseball is over, Josh. It's just NBA now. That's all that's important in the world.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe subscribe to the channel, like our videos. Come back tomorrow for another live stream. Check out for Josh's and Jake's videos. We'll be doing lots of MLB talk. Tomorrow we'll have 2 NBA games to go through, lots of stuff. We're also doing a play line contest on Friday, which you can get in on now. You'd also get free money just for signing up with playline.com/r/awesemo, AWESEMO. If you go there now, they'll add a free $5 to your account just for signing up, and you can do our tournament that we're doing on Wednesday with, I think, Durant and 2 other guys. You're going to guess their lineups and win money.
Yeah, biggest guaranteed prize pool they've done yet, $2,000 for first. It's Harden, AD, and Durant.
Baines or Bellinelli if you have salary. I would probably go... I'd probably go Bellinelli to be contrarian, to be honest. But Baines is a fine play. Sorry, just making sure there's nothing else pressing showdown related to hit. Article 100 approach, 1 game showdown possible. Yeah, I mean, the guide, honestly, is what I put in that one article, because that was written up by our COO who won that tournament that night. So check that article out. That's as good as it gets. With Josh's explanation on ownership product was a big part of it. So go back, watch that, because that was as good of an explanation, too, as you'll get on video. Yeah. Wherever that was on the video, they're sure. Scroll through. You'll find
somewhere
it.
In the 20-minute range, probably 30 minutes, somewhere in that midpoint.
Yeah, so check that out, Fred Person, and that'll help you out. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later on.